Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss about the cluster analysis. Let's start with the introduction. Cluster analysis is used for automatic identification of natural grouping of things. It's also known as a segmentation technique. Here, data instances that are similar to each other are categorized into one cluster and which are different from each other are moved into different clusters. Clustering is an unsupervised learning technique. So there is no output or dependent variable for which a right or a wrong answer can be computed. The correct number of clusters or the definition of those clusters is not known ahead of time. Clustering techniques can only suggest to the user how many clusters would make sense from the characteristics of the data. The user can specify a different large or small number of desired clusters based on their making business sense. The cluster analysis technique will then define many distinct clusters from analysis of the data with cluster definitions for each of those clusters. There are good cluster definitions depending on how closely the cluster parameters fit to the data. Cluster analysis is grouping of the similar data in one and the data which is different then we are going to keep in a different cluster. Next, we will study the applications of the cluster analysis. Cluster analysis is used in almost every field where there is a large variety of transactions. It helps to provide categorization, definition and labels for populations. It can help to identify natural grouping of customers, products, patients and so on. It can also help to identify outliers in a specific domain and thus decreases the size and complexity of the problem. A prominent business applications of cluster analysis is in market research. Customers are segmented into clusters based on their characteristics, wants and needs, geography, price sensitivity and so on. Here are some examples of the clustering. Market segmentation, categorizing customers according to their similarities. For instance, by their common wants and needs and how much they pay can help with target markets. Next is a product portfolio. People of similar sizes can be grouped together to make small, medium and large sizes for clothing items. Text mining. Clustering can help organize a given collection of text documents according to their content similarities into clusters of related topics. This is about the text mining. Next, we'll go for the definition of the cluster. Cluster analysis or a clustering is the task of grouping a set of objects in such a way that objects in the same group are more similar to each other than those in the other groups. This is the clustering. Similarity can be interpreted in many ways like shape, size, density. Clusters can be defined as a set of points that is compact and isolated. Clusters is a subjective entity whose significance and interpretation requires domain knowledge. Next, we'll move for the Example, how exactly the clustering will be, they say. See, for the given data points we have to plot the scatter plot. The scatter plot will be present in the two-dimensional view. One is along the x-axis, another will along the y-axis. Here it is a x-axis, another one is a y-axis. Along this one we are going to plot the graph. Here this crosses are going to indicate the data points. This is the data points. This is the x-axis and here it is a y-axis. Here almost all the time we are going to take it as a time. If it is a time variable one, here we are going to take the data. Next, we will go for the next clustering, representing the clusters. Clusters can be represented by a central or a model value. Clusters can be defined as a centroid, which is going to measure the central tendency. It is a point from where sum total of square distance from all the points is minimum, like a city center of a city. Cluster can be defined as a model, which is a most frequently occurring value. See, if the value is more frequently occurring, then we are going to take that value as a cluster center. Next is a clustering techniques. Cluster analysis is a machine learning technique. The quality of the clustering results depends on the algorithm, the distance function and the application. The objective of the clustering algorithm is to minimize the intra-cluster distance and maximize the inter-cluster distances. See, the quality of the clustering, it is going to depend on the algorithm, distance function, application. There are many algorithms are there. Top down, hierarchical, bottom up. If it is a top down, then from the top to down it is going to be start constructing the clusters. If it is hierarchical, begins with the best fitting cluster. If it is a bottom up, begins with naturally occurring clusters. Distance function, it is used to calculate the closeness between pair of items where there are two measures of distances are there. Euclidean distance, Manhattan distance, Jacob distance. Like this, the distance measuring functions are there. Using this one, we are going to find the distance between the items. Based on that one, we are going to add the items in a cluster. Next is based on the application. Based on the user applications, we are going to form the clusters. Next, let's start with the example. How exactly the clustering algorithm will work. Determine the number of clusters and center point of those clusters from the data set. This is the data set. For this one, we have to find the number of clusters and the center point of this cluster. First, we have to start with drawing the scatter plot of 10 items in a 2 dimensions. Here, by applying a bottom up technique, the number of clusters and their centroid can be as shown here. See here, for this one we have taken the one data point here. This is the centroid we have taken. We have drawn the scatter plot, which is this all are the data points. Next, by visually seeing this one, we have to construct the clusters. Here, how many clusters we can construct? We have to see that one. How many clusters we can construct? See this, by looking this one, these 3 are in the same way. Here, these all are in the some similar way. That you have to identify. There is a big distance between these 2 points. This is one point here. See here. See. One second. first what you have to do is you have to identify the distances from every points. Here it is a centroid. This is a centroid point, and we have to identify the distance between the centroid points. This is the we'll take another point, this one. So this data can be broken into two clusters because these two are very far from each other. Here we have to identify the distance between these points. What is the distance from these points? Distance from this one and this one. The distance is too far. So we have to make two clusters. The 3 points at a bottom. See, these two are going to form one cluster, and these all are going to form another one cluster. Like this we are going to form the cluster. How we are going to form the cluster? Based on the distance between the points. The two clusters look like as this here. Here for this one, once again we have to find the centroid. Here for these three elements we have to take an average and we have to find the centroid. And for the above we have to start doing one centroid. For all these items we have to find the centroid here. See, the bigger cluster, it is the item, the data points are far from this data point, and here. These are far from each other. So what we have to do is, we have to break this one into two clusters. Break this one into another cluster. Here under one cluster it is going to form. Here it is going to form the one cluster. Cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3. Here one cluster, here one cluster, here one cluster it is going to form. Once again we have to find the centroid. This is one centroid. Here for this cluster it is one centroid. For this cluster it is going to form another one cluster. See, our solution, we got a 3 cluster. The cluster here. The cluster on the right, that is a cluster on the right is far from the cluster 2. The cluster from this right one is far from this cluster. All are far from each other. The cluster at the top looks very tight fitting here. This one is a very tight fitting with a nice centroid. Here it is a very tight fitting. Here all they are not closely to each other. This point for these elements are not closely to each other. Here it is tight fitting. Here it is a normal fitting is there. Like this we have to find out the clusters. This was a bottom-up exercise in visually producing the 3 best fitting cluster based on the given data. The right number of the cluster will depend on the data and the application for which the data could be used. Next, we'll see the next one, that is a K-means algorithm. Here, K-means algorithm is a top-down statistical technique based on the method of minimizing the least square distance from the centroid point of the cluster. How exactly it works, we'll see with a generic code for clustering. Pick an arbitrary number of groups or segments to be created. Start with some initial randomly chosen center values for groups. Classify instances to closest groups. Compute new values for the group centers. Repeat step 3 and step 4 till groups converge. If clusters are not satisfactory, go to step 1 and pick a different number of groups or segments. Like this you have to construct the clusters based on the K-means algorithms. How exactly it works, we will see with one example. See, and also it is a iteratively computing of the clusters and their centroids. We'll start with one problem here. 3 clusters are there, 3 random centroids will be created as starting point of the clusters. Here for this we have to take a input here. According to algorithm, we have to pick an arbitrary number of groups. First we have to create an arbitrary number of groups here. So we have taken the 3 arbitrary number of groups here. So for these 3 groups we have to start adding the items. In the first step, what we have to do is, we have, for the data points, distance values will be from each of the 3 centroids. The data point will be assigned to the cluster with the shortest distance of the centroid. See, this is the shortest distance, this is shortest distance. Like this we have to add to these points. Which is nearer, we are going to adding those points to that centroids. Like this we are going to do. All the data point will thus be assigned to one data point or the other. The arrows which are going to be showing that data point is belongs to that centroid. This one centroid, this one centroid. First what we have to do is, we have to assign the one centroid. For that centroid we have to allocate this data points which are nearer to each other, we have to allocate to that one. See here, like this we have to allocate it. Next, in the next step, once again we have to find out the centroid. See, 1, 2, 3. 3 items are there. For three items you have to find out one centroid. For these items we have to find out one centroid. For these items once again you have to find out the centroids. See, we have found the centroid here. Here we have found the centroid. Here we have found the centroid. For this centroid, once again you start allocating these data points. See here, after doing this one, once again you start allocating the data points which are nearer to each other, they are going to be allocated. 2, 6 is there, 2, 4 it is nearer, 4, 7 is nearer here, 5, 7 is nearer, 5, 6 is nearer here, 4, 4 is nearer, this one is nearer. Here it is a 6, 3 and the 6, 6 is nearer to this one, and this is. Here we got the new centroid. Once again we are going to find the cluster. See, like this we have found the things. See, new centroid will be computed from the data points in the cluster until finally the centroid stabilize in their location. Once again we have to check that this centroid is stabilized or not. Once again you have to calculate the centroid point from all these data points. From these 2 data points, once again you have to find out the centroid. From these 3 data points we have to find out the centroid. Till we are going to stabilize the locations of the centroid. These are the 3 clusters computed by the algorithm. Here, these 3 we have got the clusters. This is the 3 clusters we found from the K-means algorithms. Next, finally 3 clusters are generated by the algorithm. Here the algorithm is there. One algorithm they are given. Algorithm, it is going to take a K input number of clusters, D list of data points, choose a K number of random data points as the initial centroids, repeat until the cluster center stabilizes. Allocate each data point D to the nearest of the K centroid. Compute a centroid for the cluster using all data points in the clusters. Next, selecting number of clusters. How to select the number of clusters? See, it is very difficult and it is ambiguous. Selecting it is not a perfect. It depends on the shape and scale of the distribution points and desires of the users. We cannot directly take that it is 1 or 2 like this. Previously we have taken the 3. We cannot take that one. It is a shape based on the shape, scale, and based on the desire of the user, we are going to select the things. It is very heuristic to pick a right number. One can graph the percentage of variance explained by the clusters against the number of clusters. First cluster will add more information, but at some point the marginal gain in variance will fall, giving a sharp angle to the graph, looking like a elbow. Here, looking like a elbow, it is going to be giving the falls. Beyond this elbow point, adding a cluster will not add much incremental values. Here, it is not going to, here it is a fall is there like elbow. Afterwards, the fall is not there, it is stabilized. So, we have to take the stabilized values. Till the stabilization, we have to do the thing. Here, this graph is drawn against the number of clusters and the average within cluster of sum of squares. Here, for this, the graph has been plotted. Here, this point, it is going to form the elbow. Till this, we have to compute the centroids. After this one, the centroid is stabilized, we can stop here. This graph is going to show that one. Next, advantages of K-means algorithm. A K-means algorithm is simple, easy to understand and easy to implement. It is also efficient in that the time taken to cluster K-means rises linearly with the number of data points. No other clustering algorithm performs better than the K-means in general. These are the advantages. Disadvantages of the K-means algorithms are the user needs to specify an initial value of K. The process of finding the cluster may not converge. It is not suitable for discovering cluster shapes that are not hyperellipsoids or a hyperspace. This completes your clustering. If you have any doubts, you can ask in comment section. Thank you.